You know what? I wait. I'll go back on camera to that. Now, Bill Jones, this guitar player, on the last music I was doing with Otis, he was on guitar. The music that while we was working on this music, that's when Elvis died. You know, we all were shocked because this was going to be the. I'll say this on camera if we have time to. It was one of the times that I'll just wait. You know, I'll just wait until you're on camera. When you're ready. Amy, thank you for calming me down because you know when I start talking about the fellas, you did.
You. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody wants to come over.
Well, hi. Say hello. So I'm gonna be on camera too.
She's fine. She can sit right there.
Say it, Grandpa. Yeah, I'm bringing you a napkin. This is about all the sugar I need right now.
Oh, okay.
This is it.
Shoot. Dakota?
Yeah.
We got napkins. Oh.
I'm not sure.
That's fine. Hey. Because you know what I know now? When I start to taste the sugar, I know it's time. Leave it alone. Say, okay, Grandpa, you'll save it for later. I know you will. By the time Grip get here with that coffee. Here we are. Now, let me know when you're ready. Bill Jones, I was on piano. Bernard Purdy. Bernard Purdy was a drummer with Aretha Franklin for 20, 25 years. So when I put together, who did I have on bass? I think about that. But anyway, we were in the studio. How I got Otis to go in the studio. Might repeat, but it might be a repeat. Elvis sent the plane for him 3 times. And when I found out about it, I said, hey man, all he wants to do is give you a big hug, a bear hug. And you know, you guys had a lot of success together, so finally I kept on his back, so he said, all right, studio, Bell Sound. Trying to think of it the other day, it wouldn't come in my head. Bell Sound. So we went in the studio. We did about 4 songs completed, and Otis was in good spirit, really good spirit. He wasn't. He said, "Benny, I'm really going this time." I said, "Yeah, because I'm going with you. Make sure you're gonna go." See, I said all this stuff, and because the guys at Graceland had asked them every year, celebration, Otis, please come, man. You know, you won't have to sing up here, do anything. Just come and hang out with, you know, all the guys would be glad to see you. So that's how we wound up doing those last songs. Now, the person who I'm still trying to find, Otis' wife, but she passed, and the lawyer in your state there, I sent you his name, is Albridge. He said, Benny, when she passed, I don't know what happened to some of the different things. Jerry, that's his son. But she was older lady, so she wasn't up on what Otis did in the studio. It was like, yeah, well, Otis recording some songs. That's as far as she went, you know. And her name was Mamie. And so we all were shocked because Elvis hadn't been sick or anything that we knew of. And So we got word Elvis was found unresponsive. Nobody questioned what. We accepted that as is and left it alone. Doesn't know. That's too personal for us to know. His wife and his lawyer and doctor know. That's enough. So none of the guys on Broadway ever questioned that. But they all felt like Elvis was one of them. Skin color? Are you kidding me? Don't. If you try to tell Elvis he wasn't black, you have a fight. Where did he hang out in Memphis? The black churches, the gospel churches. Where did he hang out in the nightclub? B.B. King, Bobby Blues Band. That's where he was. And what makes me angry right to this day, and a whole lot of other guys, when you hear, I don't know if you got a chance yet, but watch that show. I sent you the clip. Elvis stole the white man stole the black man music. Man, that's the biggest untruth. And the musicians that worked with Otis and worked with Elvis, they knew better. But you got these little newspaper guys want to sell stuff and da. And there was some one of the young black reporter, I had it out with her. I said, you weren't even born when the man was alive. And so you write a college paper, and this is what if I'm using the wrong word, Amy, correct me, theme or thesis or whatever you call it. So don't do that off of him. No, because that was Elvis' problem. If you put a suit on him and called him a racist, he wouldn't even know what the suit was. He was racist. Who's a racist? That's how innocent he was of that kind of thing. So the guys around us, to this day, few of us that's left, don't want to hear that. Now, I told you the day about a black lady changing cars and changing buses in front of the car dealer in Holly. Guy came out one night and said, come on in. She said, sir, did I do something wrong? The light came on, she said, oh. She said, I came by one of these car ladies, I'm a cleaning lady. And and what happened after that?
Huh?
She told him, so I'm a cleaning lady, I came by one of these cars, and what happened? When he gave her the keys, what happened? Remember when he gave the keys? Who came out? Huh? Her son. He knew about it. Because she was scared to death. 11 o'clock at night, she changed the buses, and this car always pulling up outside and letting the windows down. But she said, they never bothered me. They never said anything to me. So those are the stories that you want to pass on, and there's a lot of them like that. I lived in White Plains, and the lawyer you sent, he said, well, the family don't want, but he lived in White Plains, so he knew exactly what I was talking about. There was a dealership there. Remember that Lincoln that first came out, skinny Lincoln, had the built-in Continental? Elvis went in there. And I lived maybe 5 blocks away. I couldn't believe it when I heard it. Elvis went in there and bought a couple of cars and brought them to ship business to do it. And all the salesmen was so in awe. Oh, Mr. President, blah, 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 blah. Elvis bought 5 more cars. 5 more of those Lincolns. He told the manager of the dealership, give these guys some time off, and you decide who gets the cars. True story. So, now, getting back to some of the musicians. Well, I made you know, I told you Bill Jones was on guitar on the last session we did for Elvis. Bernard Purdy was the drummer. Studio was Bell Sound Recording Studio, Bell Sound Recording Studio. And last I know is that, as I was telling you, Miss and Mrs. Blackwell had copies of the tape. Now, who I think has that stuff now? Because Mamie, the mother, she wouldn't know what to do with it. The sister, if we ever find Kimberly, that's when we gonna find the gold, pot gold. She and her daddy was like this. So, last I heard, she's working at the City National Bank in LA, but you know, they're not gonna give you any information on anybody. But Grip was saying maybe somebody in law enforcement or private eye could speak to the bank, because they would understand the proof that not looking to harm her or do anything, but just to find out her, first of all, her well-being. And you know, this is a funny thing. The guy in your city, Albridge, the lawyer, he's the what called conservator. He said, Benny, most of Elvis' kids died within 4 years of Elvis' not Elvis. Thanks, baby. Otis Blackwell kids died within 4 years of his passing. He said none of them got a chance to enjoy the fruits of his labor. And Mamie died the first year. The wife died the first year. And he said, if you find his daughter, please let me know. Tell her to call me. Because he said the guy in New York handled the estate. He was, I'm the guy got the conservatorship of who should get who what. So those two guys have to work together. Kimberly Blackwell. But then Grip brought out a point. He said, Benny, if she's gotten married, in this amount of years, she might have gotten married a couple times, and maybe she might have passed as well. But always couldn't find anything where she had passed. So he said, if you find out anything about her, please send me information. You know, he said, ask her first, can you send it to me? If she says okay, then send it, because I wouldn't want her. If she didn't want to be contacted, I wouldn't want her. He said, but I got the same address and the same phone number, and it's gonna stay at the firm. So if she ever want to call up, he said, she has money. And so that's what happened to Kimberly, as far as we know now. Now, getting back to there's on how you finalize this book. Mike is going. Imagine a little skinny guy, but skinnier than her, with musicians your side, big. So my brother said to me, we're 8, 9 years old in the playground. He said, Benny, if you ever have a fight in the playground, don't come to me. 3 years old, I mean. He said, I'm not gonna fight you about it. He said, if I do, then everybody, soon I'm not around, don't ever let a guy thump you in the head, because if he does it one time, he's gonna do it every time he sees you. So, growing up on the playground, Emmy just told me today, Emily,
Oh, I'm sorry.
what counsel did you give me today? You gave some counsel today about getting upset. Well, I don't know what I did, but I got about said something. Daddy, the doctor's office was so crowded. I said, this ain't gonna be too long. I gotta get out of here. He said, Daddy, just calm down. I said, I got a 4 o'clock rehearsal. Anyway, big guys, many little guys in the band. Most of the guys treat him like their little brother. But James Brown was a boxer. And James Brown had a temper too. So in Buffalo, still back in Buffalo, 15, 16 years old, I had a house band at a theater. If you played the major show like the Apollo Theater, well, then there was after show at the club that I had the band in. James Brown came in one night. Hey, this was when it happened. Hey, man, y'all know any of my stuff? I said, where's your music? He said, oh, man. I said, everybody don't know your music, James. Brought your music with you, no problem. So I said, what song do you want to sing? He told me, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, just give me a break, man. Okay, let's play. We played. So there was a little edge between he and I. Years go by, and now I'm in New York. Lord Price. So we talked about it. I said, James, you like people to worship you, man. I said, you good musician, excellent showman. I said, but you like creature worship. He did. He didn't get mad, didn't say a thing. Just said, okay, man. All right, man. He and Lloyd was close. Another guy named Joe Tex, R&B singer. Never worked with Joe Tex, but so years go by, me and Jamie still okay. You know, he brought this up a couple of times. Hey, little Benny, you sure had a lot of nerve coming in my face telling me I should have brought my own music. He said, but you was right. So we got, and we hugged, man. We were best after that, man. Because in a world like that, I didn't drink, didn't smoke, but you had to be a man for your rights in the band, whatever it was. Some guys get jealous if you write an arrangement and conductor use your arrangement and don't use his. Oh man, Benny Clark wrote the arrangement. I'm not the one that select the arrangement. So you always say, man, next time let's write something together. Okay. And then got a friend. Which was all right to me anytime, but sometimes guys felt like that. So you want to keep harmony. This is people you work with, people you make your living with. And so Little Richard, you would know about this club in theater in Atlanta, the Omni. Years ago, it's probably still there near the Trade Center down there, whatever it was. Well, we were the first band to play there, show. That's Little Richard's hometown, Georgia. So Lloyd Price Band opened the show. Has this beautiful white grand piano on the end of the stage. So I'm assuming it's the house band piano. Came off stage, man. The Rich was waiting on me backstage. Hey, little Benny, who knows you play my piano, man? I said, Richard, it's on the piano on the stage. I said, I didn't know you special ordered the piano. He said, oh man. I said, Lloyd Price got Richard his contract with the record company, Specialty Records. So I said, you know who my boss is, right? He said, yeah, I know your boss. I said, go tell him. He said, I said, you know who got you your contract, don't you? He's all up in this, okay. And he and I was like this the rest of the time. So little things like that, you look back and they were fun. Nobody was mad to punch anybody or anything like that. But when you were little, like me, if you didn't stand your ground, you might have something down the road. Now let's talk about me and Aretha's sister, Irma, sweetheart. When I got in Lloyd Price Band, she was the vocalist band. Oh man, you're talking about a great singer. She didn't have the gospel like Aretha feeling, but trying to think who she had more like. I guess you would say a Gladys Knight type thing. And so we were playing Buffalo, New York. My little son at that time was about maybe 3 or 4 years old, and he and his mother was sitting in the front seat. We were playing. Look down, and also see you'll make one day at a time, you know. And I had a piano solo on that song. So I said, and little Billy Clark from Buffalo has playing on piano. She went down and got my kid and brought him up and finished the song with him. And boy, when he got old and saw those pictures, Emmy, I'm talking about your brother David now.
Uh-huh.
He got old and saw those pictures, he couldn't believe it. And we had him on a little bitty hats little boys wear, and with the overcoat matched and everything, and the little tan shoes. And so he never forgot that. He's dead. I remember that lady picking me up. But Aretha, Aretha was so down to earth. Plus, she was an excellent musician. Nobody could play that gospel piano like her. We were getting ready to do it. Okay. Aretha hired a band, this is her buddy. Nothing personal, just her buddy. King Curtis had a band called King Curtis and the Kingpins. So I was a piano player at the Kingpins. She came in New York, and she's ready to go to Chicago to do a concert for her father, fundraiser in Detroit. And the last time I saw Aretha, she had gotten married and put on a few pounds, like a few pounds. And I saw her, she came up to the door and coming by the piano, and she was about her size. I said, wow, Aretha. She said, Billy Clark, shut your mouth. Because I had never flirted with anybody before. None policy with me. Don't flirt or try to date the women you work with. This is your job. They got husband, boyfriend, whomever. Not your business. You got a wife, but don't do that. I can tell a lot of guys. I said, man, you have a problem with that when your wife found out. But she not. When my wife comes here, you play. She gonna find out because the girl gonna let her know. In some main fashion. Oh man. I said, okay. So, when we got out to Detroit, the background singers, they were really possessive of the stage. So I was talking with Aretha, and they said, you have to exit the stage now because we're getting ready to go on, And I said, Aretha, what is wrong with her? She's been on piano line. When you and I are talking, I run this ship. So that's how we were. But